next presenter, Lyubov Solovieva, Institute of Ethnology and Anthropology of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Her topic is about the character of Krasnaya Sloboda in the 1970s based on materials of an ethnographic expedition. Lyubov Solovieva, candidate of Historical Sciences, Senior Researcher, Department of the CAUCASUS, Mikhlucha Maklai Institute of Ethnology and Anthropology, Moscow, Russia. Area of interest, family, rituals, socio-normative culture, public life of the peoples of the Caucasus, Christianity and Islam in the Caucasus. So the floor is yours, Lyubov Solovieva, please. Thank you.
Здравствуйте, дорогие коллеги. Очень приятно присутствовать на такой замечательной конференции.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. It's a pleasure to participate in such a great conference. I hope I will quickly make this presentation because, for the most part, it comprises the results of the expedition. I'm talking about the reports that have been compiled by the CAUCASUS Department of the Institute of Ethnology and Anthropology. Back in the Soviet days, the CAUCASUS Department was very actively operating in the South Caucasian republics, including Azerbaijan. When we worked on, we have reanimated these materials, and those of the materials that related to Azerbaijan were actively used. In the process of searching for the archive materials, we came up with a series of information that related to the mountain Jews of the Red Village. Back in the 1970s, Alexandra Grigorievna Trofimova was working in Azerbaijan. She knew the Azerbaijani language. She used to work in a Baku museum for several years. So when they began to collect materials from everywhere, from throughout the Soviet Union republics, she was entrusted with collecting information on Azerbaijan, so she visited the Red Village and worked there for several days. Just brief information on the expedition. Back then, people used to travel using a vehicle, a road vehicle, and the team included a photographer, an artist, and junior researchers. Grigory Achillesovich Archeotrop was a well-renowned photographer that visited different regions of the former Soviet Union. He had a lot of experience working in Dagestan and Azerbaijan also. In 2023, I had a pleasure of making a presentation at the Museum of Jewish Tolerance. Back then I only had some pictures I have taken over in the Red Village. After that I tried to find something else, and I came up with the field diary of Trofimova, and also I found some of her writings, but it was very difficult to understand what was written there, as she had a difficult handwriting. When I read through the field materials, the information she collected during her field visits, they contained a very intriguing information about the people that resided there, the people that she came in contact with, her conversations, what people used to tell her. Although she paid attention, for the most part, she paid attention to the to local people's clothing, but she also wrote in her field diary that the first thing when we approach the Red Village is the synagogue. She doesn't write anything about multiple synagogues there. Perhaps she only knew about one synagogue, and perhaps that synagogue was built so as to make it visible for people that approached the Red Village. There were two ways to reach the Red Village from Guba. The first one was the pedestrian way. It was built by the German prisoners, and the other one was the road, the ordinary road. And she says that the population of the Red Village is living somewhat in an isolated way from the rest of the population in terms of their religion and traditions. She's reporting on the Mughals that were found in the Red Village, but apparently her information wasn't complete. The informants knew about those Mughals, the quarters rather. The inhabitants of some of the quarters came there from Iran, and to some other quarters they came from different villages of Caucasus. The village of Kris, which we believe is populated by Dagestani lingual people, turned out to be previously known mountain Jews which have accepted Islam in time past for some reason. Since her field materials or diary contain information about people that Trofimova came in touch with, she is reporting on people that provided her with information with great warmth. For example, they got interested in the old house, and a mistress came from that house, and she showed them around the house, and it contained a lot of different paraphernalia and a lot of different things. And Trofimova says that the mistress actually came from Baku. She got married and moved to the Red Village. She said that the mistress told her that in Baku she used to walk in her simple clothing, but after she moved to the Red Village, she was bestowed the garment which is called don. But she did not like that garment, and she actually made several pillows out of that fabric. The mistress said that her son is working, he's restoring carpets, and that even her grandson was restoring carpets. But nevertheless, Trofimova said that there were just a few carpets in the house. And you could see a few of them on the picture. Also, she's talking about Avadeva Hayat. She was 90 years of age. She found her old dress, but she could not put that dress on her because she was too old. This is the house of the 90-year-old elderly woman. These are the decorated and carved ceilings in the house, in the home. She says that rich homes had a lot of decorations and carvings. So Agaronova Belhom actually posed in the dress of Agava Hayat, and
фиксирует название всех этих одеяний. В частности,
She is
очень
providing
интересный
the
головной
names of
убор,
all
она
of
его
these
называет то чарбу, то чорбу.
of different parts of the clothing. She is calling the headwear charbo or chorbo.
Еще одна женщина, с которой
Another woman
Трофимова очень активно работала,
that
это была
Trofimova actively
Naftalieva
interacted with was Naftalieva
сама
Nashanum.
как бы приветливо пригласила их в
She
свой дом,
also
у нее тоже был старый
hospitably
дом. Как
invited
пишет
her
Трофимова, она была
into
очень
the
колоритная
house,
женщина.
and she was a very intriguing
Она
woman.
курила трубку. К сожалению,
She
Трофимова
smoked.
не пишет ничего об этом. Была традиция,
Unfortunately, Trofimova doesn't say anything about that, whether there was a tradition to smoke the pipe or not. Nevertheless, she did smoke a pipe. I'm not going to list all the details. There is a description of the decorations and the embroiderment that she was wearing on her dress. But she's saying that the most noteworthy thing is that she kept her dress in bokche, and she used to wear that dress on holidays. That young woman also helped her pose, as the dress belonged to one elderly woman that did not name herself, because perhaps some people would be afraid of naming themselves. Trofimova writes that the dress was shown to them without naming the lady that the dress belonged to. Nesonova is still. Next, Trofimova also worked in the house of Ben Yaguev. She has photographed a lot of paraphernalia in that house, and they had this kind of a stone above the entrance to their house. This is the paraphernalia from their house with Persian inscriptions, as she says, as she reports. Reportedly, there was a lot of different items, old and new, and I'd like to point out that in the old houses, in the old rich houses, there was a ladder with very steep steps. Here are the youngsters that are posing in the clothes that were found in the house of Ben Yaguev. This beautiful girl is also posing. This is the costume from the house of Vadyaev that is represented by Salome Khanukayeva. Trofimova says that women were very kind. The only problem would take place when she wanted to consider their decorations of religious nature. And perhaps because they were of religious nature, they did not want her to see them. The other interesting house she visited is the house of Meshevs. There was a separate story about that, depicting who was the senior Meshev. He traded carpets in Turkey. His name Zavalu also inherited this business. Whereas the old master, when he died, he said that he should be buried so as to see his grave from the house, and there is a small graveyard on the mountain slope. They have buried him on the mountain slope, and they could see his grave from their house. And once he left for Turkey, and his wife stayed back in the home. And Trofimova says that the first floor in the rich families was it was a combination of the shop with very broad doors, and the masters, the landlords, used to live up in on the second floor, and Zavalu Mishieva, the husband of that man, used to live there, and she had a lot of old days pictures of their family, including her son, their son-in-law, and their daughter. She had a very intriguing furniture. Trofimova says that she could only see such furniture in rich houses of Baku. We don't know who these people are. They are the residents of the Red Village. In the middle, you see Zavalu Mishiyev over in Istanbul with business partners. Shule Mishiyev and his daughter with her husband. Here is one reading a sacred book. The next we can see several pictures dating back to 1972. That is how people used to look like in their day-to-day life over in the Red Village. We can see a lot of children on the pictures, because children used to play outside and the photographer could snap them. Some pictures are inscribed, perhaps with some prayers or wishes. This should be studied separately. These are a few pictures of their houses. Back in the 1972, Trofimova says that the houses are very outdated. And these are the old streets, perhaps. There were some new houses because the number of streets was also big. They have pictured these cases, the temporary edifice for some for festivities due to the circumcision. These are the day-to-day. This is the day-to-day picture. Most of the residents used to wear urban clothing. They were not wearing. One could hardly find people wearing the old days clothes. Whereas in the Red Village, it was on the contrary. People used to wear old days dresses and clothing. They also visited the graveyard, probably because of the stories told about the memorial of Shule Mishiyev, and they found a lot of interesting things, including people's portraits, the headwear worn by men and women, and also the inscriptions could be very interesting to consider and study. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Lyubov Solovieva, for a great presentation. At the end, I want to thank all of our participants, presenters, for interesting, informative, and detailed and emotional presentations. And after listening to your speech, we got a lot of information about both Jehudi language, about museum, and about the lives of mountains Jews in 1970s. At the end, I want to add one more point about visiting museum. With your permission, Mr. Igor, I want to take my students to museum for next semester, if it's okay for you. So once again, thank you very much for your presentations and both our guests. Thank you and good luck.